And welcome everybody once again to Bottle Card Booking right here on UndefinedRadio.com. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It is Monday night, May the 17th. Only a few days removed from Redeemed Wrestling's return to Senatobia at the Tate County Fair. It's going to be Thursday night, May the 20th. We start at 7 p.m. Fair opens at 5. You pay $5 to get into the fair. You get Redeemed Wrestling. It's the cheapest you're going to get it. If you've never been to a Redeemed Wrestling show, now's the time to do it.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
It's rain or shine, and right now it's not calling for rain, which is a good thing. Keep your fingers crossed, say your prayers, whatever you got to do to keep the rain away. But we're going to have the show regardless. We will be set up under a tent, so get there, grab your seats early. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got some big matches planned. Can't wait for Thursday night. Come on out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And look, if our crowd gets up and turns in and shows out, then we'll be back every year.
Yeah.
That's kind of the trade-off. That's what we're doing. They want to see if Redeemed Wrestling, if our fans would travel. And actually, you got a chance to travel a lot closer. You don't have to drive all the way out to Wyatt. You can be right here.
Yep. In the middle
right
of
here
Senatobia.
in our backyard. I mean, which is going to be a lot of fun. Remember, that's this Thursday night. Redeemed Wrestling, it returns right here to Senatobia, Tate County Fair, $5 to get in. That's all you got to do. Come in, enjoy some wrestling. We're going to bring it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then, honestly, about 2 weeks after that, we've got another show, June 5th. That will be back out at Wyatt, supporting orphanage, Christian orphanage that's located in India. So, got a cool little story for that for you guys, but I can't tell it to you on there. I got to tell you off. I'll have to share this at breakdown for you. But yeah, so it's interesting. But again, it's going to be one of those things. That's going to be a huge show, by the way. June 5th will be massive. So be ready for it as well. Lots of good stuff. Lots of wrestling going on. APW just had their show. Mm-hmm. You had, looks like they had a big crowd.
We did. I think I got with Ricky. Ricky told me that there was about 200, 250, something like that.
Looks like it.
So it was nice.
Randy Hales draws a crowd.
Randy Hales was there. Yeah, Randy
draws a crowd.
And you also had the whole Wrecking Crew was there.
The whole Wrecking Crew was there. Yep.
Lots of gold.
They made their presence known.
Yes, they did. Gio Savage made his presence known as well.
Gio Savage did. He kind of surprised everyone at the end of the night.
What about my buddy John Tackett, huh? Where was he at?
Tackett was there. Tackett came out and interfered in the battle royal that started out in the show, and he did what Tackett does. You know, got in the ring, started talking, and it looks like, I don't know, he may have some new recruits for DDT. I don't.
Hey,
you know, but
there it is. That's how you got to grow your stable if you're gonna have one.
That's
Otherwise,
right.
it's not a stable.
Right.
So that's good. Yeah, love seeing these Redeemed guys do so well too, going into other places and new territories, making the impact known. And that looks like it. I mean, because I think you've got Smitty and Too Good, they're tag champs over there?
They're still the tag team champions. Yep, they retained their titles against the Sons of Barbaraz.
And Mike Reels just gained. He is the
Mike Reels won the
Workhorse
Buster Kennedy
Workhorse
for the
champion.
Workhorse
That's right.
Championship. Yep,
exactly. So
yep.
Look, that's 3 titles. That's two titles technically, I guess, in one group right there.
Yeah.
Those guys are making their presence known everywhere they go. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing. I mean, you better be careful. Is all I'm saying. Those guys are doing it. A lot of good matches, though, from what I heard the other night over there.
There was Honcho and Night Train put on a great match for the APW World Heavyweight Championship. And so going back to what I was saying about Gio, Gio earlier in the night had won the number 1 contenders match against Max Stone for a chance at the APW World Heavyweight Championship. And at the end of the night, Honcho, Buster Kennedy to come out to congratulate Honcho, and Honcho turned on Buster. And they have their friendship goes back a lot of years.
Yep.
And so he beat down Buster, and Gio came out And at that point, the match was made for Floyd Flair came out and made the match between Gio and Honcho to take place right there for the APW World Heavyweight Championship.
That's good.
And Gio came out on top, and Gio Savage ended the night as the APW World Heavyweight Champion.
Congrats to Gio.
So yes, congrats to
Great
Gio,
dude.
man. He's been around for a couple years now, and I think he's kind of undervalued as a performer. I mean, he can get the crowd into it. As an all-around performer, Gio is top notch.
And he's making his rounds now. He's really expanding where he's working at. And I love to see that. He will be back, I think, July 10th. He's coming back to Redeemed.
Good deal.
So can't wait to see Gio. He's part of the Brotherhoods. It's been a while since we got to see Gio.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about talking to him and getting him back in there. So I'm telling you, people, a lot of good wrestling everywhere. Right
But then a match that we hadn't talked about was Midnight Rooster and Jackson Crowley.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So
They
after
tear the house down.
they tore the house down, man. They did what those two guys, what we all know that they're capable of doing.
Absolutely.
And so that was a good match. That was a good match there.
I'm glad APW is doing well.
Yeah, I am too.
Bunch of good guys over there.
Some things are still getting worked out for the next APW show. We don't have a confirmed date yet, but once that gets done, we'll let you know when that next APW
And we need
show
to get
is.
we'll get Kennedy on the phone here hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
As soon as that gets confirmed, we'll start talking about it because we need to. CCW.
CCW's next show is May 29th, and they have a big show coming. Mike Bennett, former WWE and TNA superstar,
That's right.
will be there facing Brandon Barbwire.
Who is the current
CCW, the current
champion.
CCW heavyweight champion, right? And then also it was just announced, I think like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, something like that, that Calvin Tankman will be there as well. Calvin Tankman has been in MLW, and he's made some rounds too around the indie scene. So big card coming up for CCW, not this upcoming Saturday night, but May 29th, next Saturday night in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Yeah, that's a lot of good talent that's out there.
It is.
Speaking of Championship Wrestling, continues their deal. We will have the gun show on our show on Redeemed Wrestling this Thursday night.
That's right.
Which I haven't seen. It's been a while since I've seen Brett, so I can't wait to see him again. I've talked to him a few times over the last week or so, but it'd be great seeing him again. And look, I love that some of these guys are you have all this wrestling going on now. Whether it's your cup of tea or not, I mean, there's things that are happening all over the place. I love that. I love that there's wrestling back, and they're trying to find their legs up there, which that's not an easy thing to do when you're starting off from the ground floor again and doing that. It's like with Redeemed and like with APW and like with anything, you're having to regrow and rebuild, and I like being able to see it and see what these guys are going to do and new things coming in and out. Because I think, didn't Alan Steele just win?
Alan Steele is the first ever Memphis Heritage
There
champion.
you go.
So, big congratulations to Alan Steele on getting that accomplishment. But yeah, we had tapings yesterday, and Dave Brown was there. So if you
And that's awesome.
yeah, right. If you know
That's
anything
awesome.
about Memphis wrestling, you know Dave Brown and you know Lance Russell.
The greatest pro wrestling commentary team of all time.
Yes,
Yes.
they were, no
And,
doubt.
I mean, you add Corey Macklin into that list too.
Well,
As top notch announcer. I grew up with Corey Macklin.
Yeah.
Okay, I grew up with Corey Macklin on Saturday mornings with Memphis
Yeah.
Wrestling.
So and we grew up with Dave Brown. And, and
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
yeah, no. Well, probably
Well.
the best thing. Yeah, it was man, and there's a lot of heritage to pull from. I just hope they can do it
Yeah.
and do it justice. That's really the big part right there, is because here's the problem with doing something like that is now you have the past you have to contend with. It's like a second generation or third generation wrestler coming in, and their dad or their granddad was this world famous, world class, wrestler, and then you're trying to live up to it. How many times have we seen that fail?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you something. Cody Rhodes' promo the other night was straight trash on AEW. It was straight garbage. It was all over the place. It was not good.
Okay, so I'm not the only one that kind of felt it was kind of off.
No, it was way off.
Because I was watching it. I didn't watch it live. I went back and watched it later. And I was watching it. I kind of felt like I was, this is.
It was bad.
It seems like he's all over the place.
It was.
Where is he going with it? And I don't know if it was because of how much emotion he had in it. Because it seemed like he had a lot of emotion, which to say, for one night only, I'm not going to be the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. I'm going to be the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. So I can understand the emotion behind that because it's a lot of emotion that will come. But
the promo was structured like crap.
Yeah, like who was in charge of that? Which I guess Cody.
You're talking about I guess because I'm like, dude, half the stuff you're saying makes zero sense.
Who do they have over there to take something to?
Who is their creative team?
I know who you go to on the other show.
Yeah.
And
one person.
And that's
he says
the
yes or
problem
no.
with this. Oh my God, I was listening to it. I'm like, dude, this is. First of all, you're trying to put a political commentary into it, but your political commentary is a little off there, buddy. It doesn't make any sense what you're trying to say here.
So what was that? What's that promo that Dusty Rhodes cut?
The famous one.
The
Hard
famous
time.
one.
Yeah,
Hard
right.
time.
It's the hard
Was
times
he-
promo.
And so I don't know, enough about that promo to really talk about it, but I can ask you guys because encyclopedia over
That's
here,
right.
and
He'll know it.
You've been around forever, too. So was he trying to emulate that promo in his?
To a degree, he was, but
Kinda.
failed miserably at it.
But I don't care who you are.
You can't
You
replicate it.
cannot. Nobody can do Dusty Rhodes.
No.
But Dusty Rhodes.
It's not possible. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
And they were trying to do it, and it was not done well. I'm sorry.
Dusty was real. He was a son of a plumber.
That's
what
right.
he
He
always
wasn't-
used.
he wasn't
He
trying to
knew
compare
how
to
to talk
anything.
to the blue collar workers of America.
And you have to be able to do that because we talk about
Exactly.
promos a lot, and you have to be able to connect on that layer.
Yeah.
People always wonder why Cody
your ticket
Rhodes
buyer.
was never pushed in WWE. That's why.
Because he cannot talk.
That's why. He's a great worker and stuff, but and this is, again, we've talked about it. This is why you, again, have to have that person to go to sign off on things who's not afraid to tell you, dude, that's not going to work. That sucks. We can't do that.
Yeah.
All right, we just, that's not going to work. So, and that's really some of the part that's missing there, and it was just not good.
Yeah.
It was not good.
And then you talk about Cody Rhodes' promo. Did you guys see Kenny Omega's promo from Blood and Guts from that show? Did y'all see that?
No.
I didn't.
I'll be honest with you. I really don't watch that much of AEW.
I don't either anymore. I did when it first started, but I just don't now because it's all over.
It's a circus act.
It was. The promo was rough. They had him. So, Blood and Guts. The only match that was live in front of the fans was the Blood and Guts match between the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle. That's the only match that was live.
That's right.
The first hour was taped and shown to the fans on the Jumbotron. In that first hour, so they were watching it on basically TV like the rest of us, and so that would tick me off because they didn't present it that way to the fans before the show.
Well, exactly.
It was kind of just something that 10 minutes before, this is how the first hour is going to go, but Omega comes out to do a promo before the Blood and Guts match to basically for his Double or Nothing opponent. And he comes out. He's got all the belts, right? He's a belt collector, whatever. He's got Michael Nakazawa, who is, I guess, his sidekick, his handyman. He's got every belt that Kenny has except for the AEW belt, and Kenny's got that one. And Kenny just starts going off, and it's like, all right, where are you going with this? This is taking way too long. Like, there was pauses, and then it was like, are we cutting? Like, where are we going here?
Yeah, I
where are we
swear.
going? And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, why are you not done yet? You know?
And this is the thing with AEW. Like, they made Sting look dumb the other night.
Yeah.
Sting looked dumb when Darby Allin and Miro were going at it, and then he's just sitting there, and then guys attacked him, and then he's just back up watching again, and then they come back out and attack him again. It's like, what is going on? Miro tries to go and confront Sting. Sting's just kind of standing there, and then at one point they just fist bump. Miro and Darby does.
That's the only thing that I saw, and it was
I'm
just a
like,
GIF. And
what
I was
am I
like,
watching? It was crazy.
Just like Sting's reluctant to give Darby the fist bump. Yeah, and I've enjoyed the Darby Sting stuff for the most part because I thought it was a cool way because Darby is kind of with his whole character deal. You can see it makes sense why they put him with Sting.
Yeah.
And but I mean, what are they doing
whatever
now?
crack is in their water right now,
yeah.
they need to purge it.
Yeah.
Because it's dumb. And I felt bad. I felt bad for Cody the other night because he tried to put the emotion into it, but the promo just made no sense. It just made no sense at all. It was not a good one. And there's a lot of that, dude. So, yeah, then we have the news New Jack passed away from a heart attack the other night, but that was...
What was he, 58?
Yeah.
58?
Surprised he made it that long, to be honest with you, from all the coke he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just... You can't abuse your body that way.
Nope.
And expect to live a long time.
Yeah.
The gangsters.
Yeah.
I asked somebody, I said, did y'all, is the guy that New Jack threw off the scaffold, is he still alive? And they were like, yeah, I think he is. And I said, well, he surpassed New Jack. Like, he lived longer than New Jack did.
And New Jack just stabbing people.
Yeah.
And, all the stuff that they do.
He was wild.
I still love their gimmick, though, and when Cornette brought him into Smoky Mountain.
Oh, my God, yeah.
That was edgy. That was edgy television, especially for East Tennessee.
Oh, dude.
They had to put a thing up on
burying
before the
people,
show saying that the
burying
views of the
people
gangsters
with the
like
Malcolm X
the same
flag.
ones.
Yeah.
Up there in the middle of the
Oh, yeah, redneck.
yeah,
Just heaven
up there in the woods.
Heck, yeah, you were.
I always love the story that Tracy Smothers told that said the night that they fought the gangsters in like some kind of match or whatever, an old man came up to the gimmick table in a wheelchair. He had a flag draped over his lap, and he said, don't worry, Tracy, if them boys try to cheat you tonight, I got something for him. He pulled the flag back, and the dude had a long-barreled 44 Magnum in his he just snuck it in.
Oh, yeah.
To the building somehow, and Tracy's like, "Thank God we're going over tonight."
Yeah, really, because that would have been death to somebody. But that's a lot of heat you get right there from that stuff.
And Cornette told New Jack and Mustafa that night, he said, "Whatever you boys do not drive that Corvette back over here to this building, because if you want to keep that precious thing, said you'll go buy a $500 car." And they took Cornette's advice, and they went and got a fight because they bought. Cornette said one time on his podcast that can't tell you how many times they bought tires and they bought windshields.
Oh, yeah.
All because of the gangsters.
Oh, no doubt.
That's real heat, man.
Oh, that's
real heat
right there.
It's real heat.
So it's been crazy because you've had all these things. We haven't really got to talk about it, but we've had the Dark Side of the Ring episodes out.
Mm-hmm. Those have been real good.
Yeah, we had the Macho Man's biography on A&E come out.
Yep.
We had Booker T's just came out as well.
Booker's was really good, I thought.
Yeah, well, his is, a lot of people complained about Macho's feeling more like a hit piece because of the parts of it that they really spent a lot of excessive time on. Yeah. But, each one of these have different directors.
It was a two-part set, wasn't it?
No.
The Macho Man?
No.
Was it not?
Was one.
Oh, okay.
But they have different directors for these things.
Yeah.
Not the same person directs it. Like Dark Side of the Ring is done by those guys.
Same guys,
and that's it.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing and how to put them together, so you know what you're getting there. But this AEW's, AE's
There you go.
biographies are done by different directors each episode. So they're not all going to be the same. And the guy on the Macho Man it was brutal. It felt like a hit piece on the Macho Man. The Booker T's was really good. In-depth, fascinating look from his young years and all the stuff he went through. And I knew a lot of it because a buddy of mine I worked with at Lowe's knew him. He called him, his name was Junior. That's how he knew Booker T as Junior, growing up. I mean, had worked with him for years and all that stuff. So he knew him before he was ever into wrestling and all that. So, which is fascinating because he'd always tell me when we started working together that he had worked with him in Houston and all that because that's where my bub's from. So it's fascinating.
Yeah, that's
fascinating stuff. So it's
Booker
cool
T
to
and
see
Stevie
some of
Ray.
that.
Yeah.
One of the greatest tag teams of all time.
Oh yeah, dude, and it was so.
I remember when they were in World Class as a team called the Lightning Express. You remember that?
Oh
storm?
my God, that's going way back too.
You were asking Chad that. You weren't asking me. I don't remember that.
No,
I don't remember that at all.
Because that's y'all have to go back and watch guys who paved the way for the guys now. I mean, that's
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing to see. These guys who are doing that. This day and age right now is so different. It's so different. We had Backlash last night. We're going to talk about it. We'll talk about a lot of stuff. We'll go into detail because I want to talk about the Brian Pillman one because we haven't got to sit down and talk about it.
That's the only. Well, no, it's not the only one. I finally got to watch Brian Pillman, and then I watched Nick Gage Friday night maybe.
Oh, Corey
Friday
had
night, I
strong
guess.
words for that. By the way.
Maybe it was Saturday night. Yeah,
Oh,
he did.
my
We
Lord.
listened to that a little bit before he came on air.
Yeah, Dr. D was a good one. Yeah, it was. It was a good one too. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got to pay these bills. When we come back, we're going to delve into some of this dark side of the ring stuff and all that. You are listening to Bottom Card Booking right here on UndefinedRadio.com.
Hi, this is Hal Farrell. This is my good friend, Jimmy Hart.
Hey, Hal, I hear you're running for mayor of Batesville, Mississippi. Hey, you know what? That's pretty cool, man. I remember the last time I had Jimmy Hart's first family in Batesville, Mississippi. I had me, Austin Idol, Coco Beware, and handsome Jimmy Valiant. And you said, I'm going to take you guys to eat. You took us to McDonald's. And before we could say anything, you ordered us to drink. You know what it was? It was a strawberry milkshake with 4 straws. So I know you know how to cut a budget. So good luck on your run for mayor, Happy Hal.
Paid for by Hal Farrell.
Looking for new ink, tattoo makeover, or cover-up? Trippy Tats is the tattoo artist for you. They can bring your tat ideas to life in amazing detail. Whether simple or complex, whether you're a first-timer or you've had multiple tattoos, hit up Trippy Tats on Instagram and schedule your session today.
Hi, folks. Ricky Swindle from Batesville, tire and muffler on the corner of Highway 6 and Eureka Street. Daddy used to say, if you can do it, then you ain't bragging. Batesville Tire and Muffler has been voted Panola County's #1 tire store, #1 brake shop, and #1 muffler shop. We've been here a long time, folks. Taking care of your vehicle is not a hobby to us. It's been our job since we were boys. So for your tires, brakes, shocks, struts, alignments, and mufflers, come see the #1 tire, #1 brake, and #1 muffler store in Panola County, Batesville Tire and Muffler.
Bourne and Hawkins Insurance, your nationwide insurance agents in Batesville, Hernando, and South Haven. They are on your side. Talk to Ben Bourne in Hernando, Josh Hawkins in Batesville, and Benji Edge in South Haven for insurance for agricultural business, commercial insurance, and for your life, home, and auto insurance. They are on your side. Visit them online at bourneandhawkins.com. Bourne and Hawkins Insurance, your nationwide insurance agents in Batesville, Hernando, and South Haven. On your side. Cafe Ole on Highway 6 in Batesville, ready for you with curbside service. The number's 563-2727, 563-2727 for curbside service at Cafe Ole on Highway 6 in Batesville. All the delicious food on the menu is available curbside and almost everything ready in under 15 minutes at Cafe Ole. Doing our part to keep everyone safe with curbside service. The number's 563-2727, 662-563-2727 for all the food on the Cafe Ole menu, including that delicious cheese dip. 563-2727 for Cafe Ole.
That's Dopey Elf that you got hanging over there. I think it's Dopey. I don't even know. I think it's Dopey. It looks like Dopey.
I don't know.
I've seen a lot of people who look like that, so it looks like Dopey to me.
Almost looked like me as a kid.
As well. As a kid or right now?
No, as a kid. My ears. I've come into my ears a little bit now.
No, you really
more than
did.
What, more
So you
than when I
don't
was a
look
kid.
like Baby New Year anymore, is what
Yeah,
you're saying, right?
Right.
So, welcome back to Bottom Card Booking right here on Undefined. UndefinedRadio.com. Appreciate you guys and gals tuning in. Look, if you haven't joined or subscribed to our YouTube channel, our Undefined Radio YouTube channel, please go do that. Just go to YouTube, type in Undefined Radio, find our page. You'll see the Undefined Radio logo there. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way when we go live or post videos, you'll be able to get the notifications to see them. The more you subscribe, the more it helps this channel grow. Same thing on our Facebook page. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, go there, like the Facebook page. Give us a follow. You can watch these videos whenever you want to. You can become part of the conversation. And if you haven't downloaded our free Undefined Radio app, you can do that at any app store. We had Springfest in Batesville this past weekend, and oh my God,
How was that?
It was packed. It was packed. Frank Foster was there.
Oh, Frank.
He
I
was-
like old Frank.
It was great. So yeah, Steve Azar was right before Frank. And
Steve
boy,
Azar was down. I'm
Oh,
mad now, man.
Dude,
I'm upset.
I've been
I'm
advertising
upset.
it
I didn't
all
know
week.
Steve Azar was going to be there.
I've been saying it.
Oh,
See,
well,
if
well,
you would listen
no.
to me, then you could avoid disappointment.
That's the issue because we hadn't talked in a minute.
I
That's
know
my
it.
fault.
I
That's
know
my
it.
fault. I'll take blame for
You
it.
should on this one.
Gosh dang.
I'm not taking the play. Yeah, it was great too, dude. That was so good, so good, and man, that freaking square was packed.
I bet it was for Frank.
It was packed. You know, Frank hadn't been around here,
Yeah.
and it was awesome.
Yeah.
He put on a show. Steve put on a show. I mean, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. If you couldn't walk on that square.
Oh, I bet
That's
not.
how packed it was.
I
out
bet
there.
not.
It was great. And our very own Ricky Swindle and Johnny Pace emceed the whole show, that whole day and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. It was awesome. It was awesome. I couldn't be more
Did you
happy.
get you a
about that.
pronto pup?
No, dude, those lines
funnel
going to
cake?
all those food places. Heck, no.
Did you get you some
Yeah.
alligator on a stick?
No, I ain't doing it. Not doing that. No, I ain't doing all that stuff. Now, the fair Thursday night,
Look out, huh?
I'm just saying. We'll have a cotton candy on the
No,
pole
you
match.
want the
I'm
Tate
winning.
County Fair
Cotton candy on a
stuff,
pole.
Yeah.
The
I will
Batesville
do it.
Mayfest stuff, or Springfest, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You didn't want that, huh?
Baseball. We couldn't get to the
you
lines
get
were
that?
too long. I wasn't waiting in those lines.
Oh, come on,
Dude,
man.
we
You
got
get there
there, I was
early.
like,
Is
just
that like
dude,
an
we
all-day
were.
thing?
you stand there for a while.
No.
By the time you get up there, the
No.
show's almost over with. Then it's time
No,
to go
because
home.
some
You
of them
eat your
people
stuff,
were there.
you
There
go
was
home.
a Malachi sighting there, and I'm like, I'm not going up there.
There's a Malachi sighting.
I'm
No.
not going up there. Not doing it.
A Malachi
Can't wait,
sighting.
I'm like, nope.
Threw the X up.
Not
No
doing
Malachi.
Not doing it.
Speaking of Malachi, he gets the big title shot there Thursday night.
He does. He'll be taking on Ken Dang. First match of the night. Ken defends that Southern X title. So that should prove interesting. That should prove interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, John Taggart got Malachi tuned up and on a mission, it looks like. So that's going to be interesting. By the way, our thoughts and prayers go out to Mr. Deadeye.
Yeah.
Fighting an illness right now,
Yeah.
and that's always a tough thing right there. So thoughts and prayers go out to him, and thoughts and prayers go out to Joe too. Referee Joe's out dealing with some things right there. Hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's anytime your health is involved. That's a hard thing to
Exactly.
you hate to deal with. I mean, I hate that. So thoughts and prayers go out to
It stinks. But
Mighty Joe Young there too, boy. So hopefully they can both recover well enough, and I hope so. So, guys, our thoughts and our prayers are out there for you. All right, let's talk about this Dark Side of the Ring episode.
the loose cannon.
The loose cannon. It was the two-parter.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was.
There was a lot to digest there.
It was.
And there's a lot of things you knew or you'd heard about. Then they go dive deep on some of this other stuff, and you're going, phew. But doesn't that go to show you, too, though, what one decision can do for your whole life?
Yeah.
That car wreck they had, we wrecked this
That
home.
was it. Yeah. Yeah.
That was the
It
beginning
just
of the
all
end for
went
him.
downhill.
Yep. It went
Yeah.
downhill from there.
It's such a bright upside up until that point. But, it's that, and then, you get on all this other stuff and the pills and the partying and all the other things. And his crazy ex-wife or crazy wife. Melanie, wasn't that her name?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
She looked like she's still on something.
Oh, she's on that meth. She had to be.
Like when
She
she
was-
popped up for the first interview, I looked at her and I go,
She may be 5 seconds
Who
off
is
of it,
this?
but that's it. Because
Maybe 5 seconds
oh,
off
I mean,
of it.
because you look at her
She
from
is
the pictures
whole.
from that they were showing of
Yeah.
her and the family, and then you looked at her during the interviews and it's like, that's a completely different person.
Oh,
To me, it looked
by
like a
far.
completely different person.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It's like,
she was
holy crap, man!
her. Yeah, that was out of control and all that stuff, and she was bad. It's one of those people you look like and go, really? He was married to that?
Yeah,
And I hate that for Brian Jr., who's really trying to make it work now with his mom and all that stuff. But, that's another fascinating thing, too, about that is, his son, his daughters, he had, 3?
Yeah.
All from
three.
different parents,
so,
all from different ladies and stuff. And what happened to his second wife? His first wife was horrific.
that was I guess that's the oldest.
Brittany's mom?
Yeah,
The
the
second
oldest
one?
daughter.
No,
No,
Was she
she's
not the
middle
oldest
daughter.
She's the middle daughter.
Yeah, because he thought that was his only child.
Child.
until
Oh,
he
yeah,
found
man.
out that's not
Found
true.
out the
Yeah.
okay.
So that was that stuff too. And his sister's a saint.
Yeah,
Brian's sister's a saint of that
Yeah.
whole thing. I think she's the only thing that probably saved those kids.
I think so too.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean
and
that's
kept them
the
normal.
that's the feeling that you got by watching it. I
Yeah.
mean, just seeing them all
And
around the table and looking at pictures and
I
just
still wish-
talking and laughing.
And I still wish WCW would have kept him and Steve Austin together just a little bit longer.
Oh yeah, but what was crazy was that if it hadn't been for that Hummer deal, Brian probably would have been a megastar in WWE. 'Cause
Oh,
you're hitting the Attitude
Attitude
Era
Era with
Yeah.
Loose
Oh
Cannon
my
gimmick.
Lord!
Oh man,
Well, a gimmick. It really wasn't a gimmick. I mean, he was.
Yeah.
He was a loose
Not too
cannon.
far off of what he really was. But dude, that whole thing of him tricking Eric Bischoff into that.
oh that was
That was
that was
golden.
brilliant.
I don't care what
That was
Bischoff
brilliant.
tries to say. He was totally
Oh, yeah.
taken by that. That was clever.
He tried to play it off like he was completely cool with it, and he knew what was going on.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. That was brilliant.
Like, why are you going to tell somebody
Yep.
to leave your company to go make their name bigger somewhere else,
Yep.
and then just to come back in a couple years
Yeah,
so
then we'll
you
pay
can
you
pay
more.
them more?
That's right.
You know, because you get somewhere else and they're paying you more, and things are going well for you. What's the odds that you're going to leave from there and go back?
Well, that's the thing. Why would you if you think a talent is going to be that great, why are you letting them go to begin
Exactly.
with? Because if you're the one who's running that show, you're telling your guys, like, I'm invested in this guy because
Yeah.
he's the future of this company.
You
He's
want
the one
them
that's gonna
there.
bring it.
You want them there.
Yeah.
It's your company.
Don't
You
tell
don't
me
want
you-
them somebody else with your competition, especially.
No, not at all. The problem was they were overpaying a lot of other guys.
Oh, we are way
And-
overpaying them.
And again, kind of what we talked about goes on with AEW, but not to the extent it went on at WCW by far, was the fact that it was just out of control. Nobody was doing anything. There was nobody answering. I mean,
No, nobody
Bischoff was
answered
more
to him.
interested in being friends than being a boss and steering the ship the way it goes. There's no reason WCW still shouldn't be around.
Right.
You had way too much talent there, but you had nobody steering that bus because it became more about the buddy system.
Yeah.
It was all Hogan. It was all Hogan, Nash, and Hall.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you can't
had a stroke.
have that. It doesn't. It never works out. I mean, it just never works out that way. People have to answer to somebody. You have to have somebody that can say no.
Yeah.
Instead of everybody just saying yes. I mean, we got some of the worst things in WCW because of that. But then you let Brian Pillman go, and that dude was on fire. I loved him being with the Hearts. I loved everything that could have went to, the thing that they could have done with that if it hadn't been for, him just, man, it's so.
Kind of off subject here a little bit. You was talking about WCW. If you listen to Jeff Jarrett's, Jeff has a new podcast out
Oh, yeah.
with the Podfather, Conrad Thompson.
Yeah.
He is
Somebody
He is
asked.
everywhere.
Oh yeah, somebody asked Jeff, like a question deal or whatever, what he thinks where WCW went down, and Jeff kind of started from back, on all the goofy things it did. When Russo came, it kind of just went, stupid storyline just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And Jeff said, where I really saw it was when those 8 guys who they made you think was going to be there at the house shows didn't show up.
Yeah.
And they have myself and Stevie Ray, main event, a lumberjack match, when Stevie Ray and I don't even have any kind of program on TV going. He said, I knew right then WCW was headed south.
Oh, yeah. Because those guys weren't having to make those house shows.
No.
There was no reason for them to. Wasn't anything going to happen to them.
Yeah.
By that point, Scott Hall was so in the gutter with his drug abuse and drinking, really, more than anything else. And you just nobody gave a crap. They were all getting it way too easy. They didn't have to earn anything at that point.
No Hall, no Nash.
Nobody was hungry
That's
for anything.
He thinks that's the only reason you saw Scott Norton and Buff and them was because they were going to be at the house shows and they were a part of the NWO.
Oh, yeah.
They had to
Absolutely.
have somebody from the NWO there.
That's right.
And they just sent the mid card, lower card guys who were part
Oh,
of the
of
NWO.
course. And that's one of the big things that happened with WCW. Is nobody just cared about those guys because they weren't cared about on TV. So why are you going to care about them at a house show?
Exactly.
Because that's what you're basing it all off of is that. It's,
And then back to Pillman, man. I still my favorite angle he did was him and Austin on Raw with the gun. I thought that
Oh,
was
dude. I love that they went in depth about that, too.
Yeah.
That was interesting. That whole thing, and they're doing it, talking about it. It's great. And then they get, of course, standards and practices didn't think it was great.
no, they didn't. No, they didn't. But you know what?
It's
that
awesome,
was
though.
that was right before the Attitude Era.
Yeah. That's the lead in.
That kind
Right
of started. Yeah,
before
that
its
kind of
time,
started shock TV for them.
It did. And that's why I'm saying, though, you knew Brian Pillman should have been a huge star in this business.
Ooh.
That would have been the launching point for his. It was the sky was definitely the limit for Brian Pillman.
Even if he could have gotten in the ring like he did commentary, I mean, he could have been like a manager. I mean, he could have had a faction or something.
But he didn't want any of that.
No,
He
I
wanted
mean,
to
you
be
heard
in
JR
that
talking
ring.
about when they put him on commentary with him,
Oh yeah, he hated it.
and he hated it then.
Then hated JR because JR was trying to get him some help
Yeah,
right.
and all that. And I mean, that was a no-win situation right there.
Well,
And there's, and that's the thing though. But you can't. Well, we know people. We have friends like this, or acquaintances, or family members actually who've been through a lot of stuff, and you know that you can't. You know how much help they need, but you can't do anything because they don't see it.
mm-hmm.
If
of
they don't
course,
see it, and they
JR
don't want it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
right.
of course, JR at the time being head of the talent, I mean, he cared about those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he used to set them down and use one by one and tell them, hey, guys, here's what, if they had problems at home, what to do, about to pay their taxes, about their contracts, about their payoffs
Yep.
at house shows. I mean, he would sit them down one by one and talk. I mean, they were pretty much like his kids.
Yeah, and there's nothing worse than seeing guys you care about go through that stuff and knowing there's nothing you can do because they're gonna hate you.
Yep.
They are.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do about that because people when they're under the gun feel attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what it is at all. You're trying to help these people, but they keep spiraling, or they keep refusing, like you're against them, and it's just not the case. And you hate that. It's awful to see. And that's why we tell guys all the time, you need somebody to talk to. I ain't gonna tell you secrets. Come talk.
Yeah.
Believe me, I've had plenty of people come talk to me, and no one will ever know that conversation.
Yeah.
Just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because it's not for anybody else to know. And it's tough when you have nobody you feel you can turn to, and some of these guys can't do it. So they turn to drugs, turn to pills, turn to all these other things, and just like with Pillman, it just takes you further and further down that rabbit hole. And it was sad. I felt so bad for Brittany. I think is the one who I felt the worst for. It was the middle daughter.
Yeah.
She just, man, that stuff. Her mom had died and killed herself because of what Melanie and Brian had done, really.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you kind of saw Brian kind of take a turn there too.
Oh,
After
yeah.
that happened, they
Devastated
were talking
him.
about it.
Yeah. He felt
in
that
there.
regret.
Yeah.
He knew he messed up.
Yeah, and so when did things start kind of spiraling south for Brian? That could have been, at the beginning of it.
Oh, yeah. It's just tragic. It's just so sad. I mean, that's, wrestling's so funny because, especially if you're one of those guys, top tier guys who are wrestling these big companies and you're having to travel 200-300 days a year. You're never home. You're always tired. But, by all accounts, Brian was all about his kids.
Mm-hmm. So
he never had any downtime to rest. So you're having to take uppers and downers to get up and to bring yourself back. All the things you got to do to try to deal with that. We were talking about like the Roddy Piper one. That was brutal. Watching all of that and the stuff that he went. You hadn't seen Roddy Piper's?
I hadn't got to watch any of the A&E stuff.
Roddy Piper's is really well done.
Very well done.
It was so well done. I enjoyed it. I mean, they got over a couple of places that he worked, but I can get by with that. They hit the main spots really.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time with his family and his young life too. And there's that whole thing that you didn't really know about. And it was kind of interesting to see that whole thing.
Yeah,
So you hadn't seen the Randy Savage one then either?
No, I haven't seen. Let's see. I watched about 10 minutes maybe of the Stone Cold one. Then that was just because
really
I
good.
got lucky and
Yeah.
saw it on the TV Saturday night, and so I tried to watch a little bit of it. But yeah, any of the A&E stuff really I hadn't got a chance to watch.
Yeah, Stone Cold's was good. Randy Savage's, like we talked about earlier, that was a hit piece, I think.
That's
Just
the one that I
what it
was
seemed
that
like.
I was hearing the most of was like the way that they did the Randy Savage one,
Yeah,
and
it
then the
was
way
not
that
good.
they did Roddy Piper,
Yeah.
and they were like, they did a lot better with the Roddy deal than they did with
Yeah, like I said,
with
different directors,
Macho Man.
so it's not the same directors,
Yeah.
and it was
They
not
asked
good.
they asked Hogan about him and Andre. He's like, I don't think Steamboat and Savage we're going to try to upstage us. I was like,
And then Steamboat's like, we're
right,
trying
yeah.
to upstage you.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Like we were trying to.
Who does
upstage
not
you.
who does not want to be the talk of WrestleMania, whether you're the main
swear.
event, mid card, or the first match?
But what's funny is that both of those matches were over big time.
Oh, yeah.
Now everybody knows that the Savage Steamboat match is maybe the greatest match of all time in most people's minds who've seen it, especially growing up in that.
It still
era.
gets talked about today.
It does.
Hogan and Andre don't get talked about that much these days.
No. But did that match pop the crowd at the end of the night? Oh, it's huge. And back in the day,
Oh yeah.
that was the one people talked about. But here's the funny thing that I loved about it is hearing Steamboat talk about it. 160 moves planned out, back to back to back to back, and had to remember everything. That's all Savages wanting to. We've got to get this down. Going through yellow pad, legal pad after legal pad after legal pad.
Well, he had a scroll, man. He just
Move number 1, lock up.
pop that sucker
Oh,
out.
well, yeah, okay.
Move number 2, lock up again.
Yeah.
Push off, lock up.
That was the WrestleMania 3 match, right?
Yes.
Move number 68, double axe handle off the top onto the floor.
Yeah.
It hadn't been that long
Everything.
since I saw that match, and I was watching it, and I was very impressed with it.
Well,
And just like taking, like, I was looking at it as a fan for once. Like it's hard for me to watch things as a fan now, like just because
when you're in the business,
doing it and
is.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's most of the time I'm sitting and I'm watching and I'm critiquing stuff, which I don't have really have a right to critique anything.
Sure
but,
you do. We all do.
But
Even
I mean,
as fans.
But that was the first time in a long time that I sat and was actually like a fan of this match.
Well, it makes you look at it different too, though, knowing how planned out that match was. Because you can look at it 2 ways. Like, okay, well, so they didn't come up with that on the fly. Or you can think of how did they remember all of that and complete it? Because you're moving.
You think they went through the whole thing?
Well, they did.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
did.
I mean, I've heard Steamboat say on interviews, because if not, Randy was thrown off. I mean, if
So
they
is
would
that every
have missed one or
Randy
two little
Savage match?
spots, Savage was thrown off.
Every
He's why
Randy Savage match
Savage
was-
is why DDP started doing it. I mean, so he wasn't a walker and talker. He wanted to know everything. That he was just that guy.
He's
He
the
was
macho man, brother. Yeah. Ooh,
He had his OCD was over the top. He had to have it all down.
Right. Yeah.
Get you a Slim Jim, brother.
Which makes it impressive, though, that he did it.
Yeah.
I mean, because you mess up one time, and it can throw everything off.
Especially him.
Perfection.
Especially him.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, we got
I'm
to
sure he hated to work Lawler.
Dude, I swear. All right, we got to take our second break of the night. We come back. Lots more to go. You're listening to Bottom Card Booking right here on UndefinedRadio.com.
As your financial institution, it is our responsibility to help protect you and our employees, our greatest assets. Although our lobbies do remain open, we encourage you to use other means of banking provided for your convenience. Please use our drive-thrus, ATMs, our mobile banking app Dodo, SmartPay, and BillPay. If you are not enrolled in FirstNet, contact your local branch and enroll today. Taking one fear away will help minimize your worries concerning COVID-19. Please understand we are doing everything possible to protect you and our employees. First Security Bank, member FDIC.
Wells Funeral Home and Cremation Services on Highway 35 North in Batesville, Mississippi. You can visit with them anytime at wellsfuneralhome.net. Wells is ready to assist you in pre-arranging your funeral with over 80 years of combined experience. Wells Funeral Home honors any insurance or pre-need contract with no loss in value. There are so many options for funeral arrangements these days. Wells can help, and Wells will take the time necessary to address your concerns and customize the service you desire. Wells Funeral Home is celebrating over 40 years in business. Wells Funeral Home and Cremation Service, Highway 35 North in Batesville, or wellsfuneralhome.net.
The fastest internet speeds are coming to rural Mississippi. TVI Fiber, powered by TVEPA, bringing fiber optic high-speed internet to Tallahatchie Valley. All 9 counties served by Tallahatchie Valley Electric Power Association will have access to high-speed internet for your home or business. Check it out at TVIFiber.com. The fastest internet speeds are coming to rural Mississippi. TVIFiber.com, powered by TVEPA, serving rural Mississippi at light speed.
And welcome back to Bottom Card Booking right here on UndefinedRadio.com. Appreciate you guys and gals tuning in, getting you through your week. Man, it is. But this hour is flying by right here. All right, so we're going to talk about Backlash. We're going to try to squeeze this in before this show is up. Backlash was last night. WrestleMania, they're calling it WrestleMania Backlash, I guess now. And you notice they moved Hell in the Cell up into June.
Yeah. I didn't
That's
realize that
interesting.
it was because I saw something on Twitter last night talking about the Rey and Dominic Mysterio, deal with them becoming the tag team champions, SmackDown tag team champions, and they were talking about why do it now, why not wait until like Money in the Bank in June on Father's Day to have them win it then,
Yeah.
and make a big deal about
That's
first
in July,
ever.
though.
But is it July?
That's what Money in the Bank is normally in July.
Yeah.
Whenever the Money in the Bank, whatever, I guess, but they were talking about why not hold it off until that pay-per-view on Father's Day.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well,
doing
there's a
it
lot of
then.
crowd.
Yeah, and having that first ever father-son tag team win the belts, then instead of doing it right now.
Yeah, because that's WWE booking for you.
Yeah.
That's their creative.
Yeah.
That is exactly.
So now we'll have a heel turn.
That's what happens
from,
with all those
from either Dominic or
newspaper
Ray
writers.
against the other.
Well, Backlash was really good last night. We'll talk about the worst part of it in a little bit because it really was only one bad thing that happened in there, but it was bad. It's the only negative star I've ever seen given to any match.
It
was
Was it Dave Meltzer's
on a professional level.
Yes.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Reigns Cesaro, which is why I was tuning in anyway, was
it was
excellent.
good. And they worked for a while too.
Oh, they did.
went for
I
it.
told Storm a while
great
ago,
story.
if you have any doubts that Cesaro is not a main event guy, watch that match right
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
And if you have any doubts why they keep Roman Reigns in the main event,
Yeah, watch
because
that
that's
match.
it.
this
Yeah,
dude
watch
has
that
not
match.
had bad matches.
No.
He just doesn't. And Cesaro was great last night.
Was
I mean, it
sold
physical.
his tail off.
great
yeah, it
seller.
was physical. Man, it was physical.
He
God.
sold that arm the entire match.
Yeah.
It worked into the match. It was great. I loved it. They've made Roman's guillotine a big deal.
They have.
And I'm glad they've done that because he's gotten Daniel Bryan with it and now Cesaro with it.
And you saw Cesaro power out of it a couple times. He
Yep.
was able to power out of it
Well,
a
and
couple
they
times.
were because they're making a big deal out of his strength.
You're
which
right.
Everybody knows that Cesaro
He's
is just
super strong.
Yeah,
So,
to pick Reigns up from the apron, I tell you, his superplex might be the coolest one I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
From the apron up in the air and then back, man. That's
Yeah.
that takes strength.
It does. It was excellent.
That's like
loved it.
what was the guy at the AEW deal that carried the dude up the steps? That carried Darby Allin up the steps.
Gosh dang.
Was that Starks?
No, it wasn't Sparks. God,
Was it Cage?
Cage.
Yeah, Brian Cage.
Yeah, that's
Brian
it.
Cage.
Brian Cage.
I didn't want to say Nick Gage because that's a whole different
So,
subject
Nick-
we're not talking about. So, but it was a great match. Oh my God, it was such a great match last night.
It was.
I loved it. And the other match that really was surprised me and was every bit on that level was that triple threat match between Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Braun Strowman.
Dude, those
Holy
three big
God, it
guys
was good.
worked like cruiserweights. Like
Oh yeah, they were
worked,
rolling.
man.
Oh
Yeah.
my Lord.
And how about Strowman coming off the apron with the flip?
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
exactly. It was insane how good that match was last night.
It was.
I loved it.
It was
Express.
quick too. Like I mean, not quick as in time wise, but I'm just talking about like move.
Yeah,
move,
they had no
you
rest
know.
spots in it.
No.
No,
There was no rest spots in that.
I mean,
in that match.
you saw when Bobby took the bump through the LED board. He was out for what 4 or 5 minutes up until the finish.
Yeah, which made sense, which is what they needed to do.
But I will say I didn't care for the finish that much.
I loved it.
Just because it was like, okay.
It made Bobby Lashley intelligent.
Yeah, I mean, because he waited for Drew to hit his move, and then he
popped him.
capitalized on it.
That's right, and that's what you got to. That's what they need instead of just making him a brute man. He needed to be a technician and a tactician, and that's what he was.
Yeah.
He took advantage of it, and that to me is what a smart heel champion.
I still
should
say they're
always
setting
be.
up for Lashley and Lesnar at SummerSlam.
I think they are too.
I mean, you look at it.
It'd be great if
You
they-
look
I
at it
hope they
after
do.
last night, and I mean, where do they go? From here with Bobby and with Roman. I mean, because they're kind of the deal with Roman and the Usos.
Oh yeah. Well, Jimmy about to get more involved.
I got a pretty
Yeah.
good, yeah.
You know, there, I think, and I was listening to a podcast earlier today. They were talking about, well, maybe they're just putting the tag belts on Dominic and Ray for this feel-good story, and then next pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, I guess, is what the next pay-per-view is.
Yeah, have the Usos.
The Usos will win it. They'll be the new tag team
can't.
champions. They'll
Can
be.
they?
I mean, it's WWE. They can.
Oh, that's right, because Ray and
Dominic are on.
SmackDown.
Yeah,
okay,
they're on SmackDown.
okay.
Both
I
of
was
them are on
thinking they
SmackDown.
were on Raw for some reason.
No,
No.
they smack down.
But it would be cool. I mean, have the
And it-
Usos be heel tag team
Yeah,
champions.
and they keep getting them heat.
Yeah,
So I just
all the belts will be in that little
All the belts will be right
dynasty.
there.
The
Oh,
I
man.
absolutely love the whole.
They've been watching the Wrecking Crew.
Well, I tell you what, the head of the table stuff is interesting because
Yeah, it's good.
I love his delivery. Roman's delivery has gotten better. Actually, the pandemic has helped him because being able not to have to be super loud on the mic, where he can really show that intensity and the emotion has helped him so much.
And you see him in the matches talking to
Oh,
himself.
dude.
You know,
Yeah, he's in
talking
that
himself
match.
through stuff.
He
you
looks
know.
way more
Just-
vicious now. It's like,
yeah.
this is the dominant guy you
I'm
want.
Man.
I'm still
such a
thinking.
fan.
I'm still thinking somewhere in my mind that Daniel Bryan is going to show back up, but he's going to be like in a full suit with a mask or something on. I just.
Go back to his what was he, the American Dragon?
Yep, he was the American
was in the
Dragon.
Indies?
Yeah, but I don't, back in the late '90s, early 2000s when he came to Memphis.
That's right.
Under Memphis Championship Wrestling.
I don't know.
Him and Shooter Schultz and Lance Cade and Spanky. He was the
I'm ready for
Brian
WrestleMania.
Kendrick.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'm ready to see Rock
go
and
ahead.
Roman go at it.
Yeah.
Man,
my-
I hope you're
coming.
right, man. I hope you're right.
Roman's coming.
Last
It's coming.
night when they did the little promo deal before Roman went out through the curtain, and he was talking to I can never get
talking
those
to
shows right.
Jay.
Was it Jay?
Yeah, maybe you need to go find your brother.
Yeah,
I was like,
and
okay.
Roman turns, and he's just got that swagger, that slow, methodical walk to him.
Yeah.
And you see him walk through the curtain, and he's just intense. And then he comes out and like walks out on the stage, on the ramp, and he's still got that just swagger.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that like, I'm here for business and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, type deal. Like, I am the head of the table. Like, this is my company.
Well, that's because he's believable, and as a
Yes.
heel, he's very believable.
Yes. Yeah. This
It's
was
like,
the best
okay,
thing they ever did.
This
for Roman
dude's so
Reigns.
sadistic right now. You're not.
Yeah, I'm afraid
And it's
I'm-
good to see something pay off that fans have been wanting forever for WWE to do.
Yeah.
They finally do it, and it's working out.
And I'll tell you something. His counters into the guillotine, like last night when he was countering and rolling backward into. Oh
Yes.
my God, dude, this guy. That's where he's deadly.
Yes.
And I think they built him up so they're building him up to that Brock Lesnar type of deal without having to make him Brock Lesnar 2.0. He's his own thing, and I love that.
He is. And Heyman's role with him is completely different than it is with Lesnar.
Absolutely.
You know,
That's why I like it.
man,
It
It's just
works.
good. It's good. It's good product. It's good. You know, the wrestling that Roman does is great.
Oh yeah.
The promos that he does is great. Just everything that they're doing with this story is good stuff, and it's not typical for WWE anymore, but
No, but they're letting this just shows you when
Yes.
you let somebody be who they are meant to be,
Yes.
it works.
yes, exactly.
Stop trying to force these guys into being something crazy and goofy that's just not working for
You
them.
wouldn't see him do it if Roman was on Raw.
Oh my
I'll
God.
just say that.
Right.
If he was on Raw, it wouldn't be
Which
the
is
same
sad
way.
since that's the same stupid company.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
that. It's like,
You've got 3 different shows within one company, and all 3 are completely different.
Yeah, it's like, how do you not know this and watching and this creative crap that they come up with and lack of it? You're going, how do you sit back there and go, we're going to say this is okay?
Yeah, this is
And can we just talk about Pat McAfee, by the way? I love Pat McAfee.
McAfee's good.
McAfee is great.
He had a line last night during the Roman Cesaro match, and and it caught my attention, and it kind of brought me back to being like, oh yeah, this is Pat McAfee on commentary,
That's
because
right.
I'd forgotten.
I love the
And-
fact he'll just stand up in the middle of it because he gets so into it.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's what you want calling him.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is why they hired Pat McAfee to do this job.
Yeah.
First of all, because he's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
He's not dumb. He loves the product, and he is not afraid to be over the top and be all in.
Yeah.
And that's what you want out
Yeah.
of it. I just find that incredible.
I mean, to me, he's already way better than Corey Graves.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Not
he is
Corey
just-
Graves fans, guys.
No, I
Y'all
like
don't
Corey.
Graves?
I actually like Corey.
Randy doesn't like
I
Corey.
like
Graves.
Corey.
Randy doesn't care. about us.
But I think Pat's just the way he is all in as a fan
Yeah.
and
I
who
think
loves
that's
the
the
product. That's just awesome.
That's the cool thing about Pat McAfee is because you saw him come into NXT and he killed it there. He killed it on the mic there.
Yep.
He killed it in the ring. He was really good in the ring.
And-
then they
and
bring him
worked at
to and then they bring him and put him as the commentator on SmackDown.
And I'll say this.
and he's killing that.
I love it's done a world of wonder for Michael Cole. you can tell he's been rejuvenated
Yep.
by the presence of Pat McAfee.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You brought up Pat standing up last
Yeah.
night during that match. Cole was standing up with him.
Oh, yeah,
Cole,
he's
both of
gotten-
them were standing. The camera panned out just enough where you could see both of them standing up, and I'm like, dude, that's when the commentators are standing up and they're nowhere. They haven't been anywhere around the
Yeah.
table. That's good.
I'm
That's
telling
when you know they're doing their job. They're
I
doing what
agree.
they're supposed to be doing.
I
Because
agree.
how often have you seen that?
Not
and
very
you
often.
don't.
No.
And this is the unique thing that Pat McAfee brings to it too. I was reading a lot of stuff. People were hating on me when he first got involved. And I'm like, why? Why are you upset about
Did
this?
you not see what he did in NXT?
Yeah, and not only that, but like on his show, on the Pat McAfee show, you had some of those people, why are you getting into wrestling? That stupid. Pat would be going, oh, I love it. Why not? You're getting the same guy you're getting on the podcast. You're just getting more Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Why would you not want that? The tag team title match, Dominic, Ray, again.
Yep.
Great stuff. I'm glad to put the titles on them.
Good storyline.
Ziggler and Rude did a great job in that match as well. They were, just vicious on there.
Rhea Ripley.
Ray
match
took a
was
great
good.
job. Ray took a beating. Rhea Ripley, she did. She hung in there with Asuka and with Charlotte. Charlotte had a great showing last night.
So who won it? Because I didn't see it.
Rhea Ripley held on to her
Rhea
belt.
Ripley, yeah.
Rhea won it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had Bailey and Bianca Blair. They kind of had a messed up finish on theirs, but they had a good match.
Yep. And the
Was
lady
it
threw a
on
fit.
the ref?
No, it was on them. They were going to do the top of the hair to hold Bailey down. That's what they were going to do, but it kind of got loose a little bit. But but that was really it. And so we haven't talked about it. We've only got a few minutes, so we got to mention the absolute worst match of the year when
Can I
it comes
play it?
to a professional wrestling show outside of AEW.
Can I play it?
Dude, you play a second of it.
I've just got to.
It was horrible. Horrible. It's funny because, we talked about blood and guts earlier. And they were talking about WWE had just made this quote, right? Here we go. All right, there it is.
Zombies.
Zombies at
Zombies. Of all
at
things in
Backlash.
professional wrestling, now we have zombies.
Horrible. Why?
When we had Rap Master P and News, Beetlejuice, and everything, now we
Dude,
get
it was bad.
zombies.
It sucked. I hate that for Priest, and I hate that for Miz.
Oh,
Having to endure that. That's awful. All to promote a movie that people were going to see anyway.
Yep.
Because it's gotten pretty good reviews on it. I can't wait for it to come out this week. I can't wait to watch it.
Dave Batista.
Yeah.
Starring Dave Batista, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
with
thought his
Batista.
piece at the start was
It
actually
was
pretty good.
because he had that can.
His delivery, man, was
yeah.
good on that.
So it was all good stuff, and then you had god awful zombies as the lumberjacks. I'm like, honestly, Miz should be dead now.
And nothing.
You
was
might as
even
well
said
just let
about
them
it.
eating for real and just kill them because that's what zombies do, right? It was so hard to watch. It was the worst thing. And WWE just put out this whole thing talking about AEW's blood and guts is setting the business back 20, 30 years. And then they immediately turn around and do this trash. Yeah. Zombies.
It's like they were just like, okay, we've got to promote this movie
I
somehow. How do we do it? Oh yeah, that's right. The Miz and Damian Priest are having a lumberjack match.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
make
make 'em
the zombies lumberjacks.
So dumb.
If
Because
you
they
want-
were trying to make them be actual zombies. I'm like, dude, come on.
If you want to know something all three of us have agreed on,
championship. Just let them run after the 24/7 championship.
all three of us have agreed on something. We cannot wait to hear what Cornette has to say
Yeah.
about the zombie
I'm
match.
excited about it.
When's that drop? Thursdays? Does
Yes.
Cornette
Thursday,
still
yes.
drop
Yeah.
Thursdays?
He might do a special one earlier on.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one.
yeah,
I'd
he
just
might.
be looking for it every
That
day.
and the
Yeah.
guy, that and the guy burning his privates. That's the two worst things
Oh,
in
yeah.
professional
That-
wrestling this week.
I mean, my God. I just couldn't believe the whole zombie thing. I'm like, really? Really? This is what we're going to get? This trash right here?
The Miz does
I
not
hate that
deserve
from
that.
I hate that from
But
Miz
it's-
Morrison and
I mean,
Priest.
how many times has Miz been given something like that in his career?
Well, Miz was just the champion.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And this is what I mean.
For
That
what, 2
dude has
weeks?
Yeah.
had to
Weeks.
overcome
Not for
so
long.
much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
he had to overcome so much. Tomatuga said, "Say it again, 2 count." They have been watching the Wrecking Crew. The zombies
I did say
probably
that.
have been watching the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
Well,
Just on
that
track.
was referring back to whenever I said that if Jimmy and Jay win the SmackDown Tag Team titles and Roman still
Yeah.
got the belt, they've got their own Wrecking Crew there with
They do.
Wrecking Crew and APW. So
Yep.
that's what that was referring to.
But who knows?
We
At
knew,
least
but
you're
I think
listening,
the zombie
Tommy.
reference is better.
Jimmy might be the face of the bunch.
I mean, he may be.
You never know.
He may be. Who knows how they're going to grow? But
I
at
mean-
least SmackDown has storylines and they're good.
Yeah, this other
yeah.
garbage show, Lord.
Probably
Raw
because
on
of
the
Michael
other hand.
PSAs.
What time does Raw start? 20. It's got 31 minutes.
Yeah,
Guess who's probably not going to watch it?
that's right. I can already tell you.
Honestly.
I can tell you who ain't gonna watch it. For
I'll
sure.
keep up with it on Twitter.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
it.
guys, I'm failing you.
I'll do I'll check back the highlights just to see what kind of happened. But SmackDown, I love. I love SmackDown.
SmackDown's an easy watch.
SmackDown's so easy to watch. Raw is difficult, and I'm just not a fan. Sorry,
Except for the
WWE.
phenomenal
Well, that's
AJ
it. I tuned in for
Styles.
AJ. But this
Well,
other
I mean,
stuff.
Yeah,
they
Omos.
haven't. Have they had them on TV since they won the tag titles?
they-
Were they on last week? Because I don't think
Last
they
week
were
or-
on like the first
they-
2 weeks after they won the belts. I don't think they were on.
It was either last week or the week before last they were on there.
Yeah, one of the two.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. I don't
Big
know.
Omos.
But you know, well, that's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys tuning in for this episode of Bottom Card Booking right here on UndefinedRadio.com. We appreciate it. Tune in next Monday night. We'll probably get started at 5:30 again. Kind of like the new time slot, a little bit better. It makes it a little bit easier. So if you do want to turn
Don't
into
forget
Raw,
Thursday night.
you can do that. And Thursday night, buddy, Redeem Wrestling coming
Tate
back
County
to
Fair.
Senatobia, Mississippi at the Tate County Fair. We kick off at 7 o'clock and go until we get finished. It's going to be a lot of fun. $5 is your buy-in. It gets you into the fair. You get Redeem Wrestling for free.
Heck yeah, man.
So just pay your monies at the door. Come on in. Enjoy Redeem Wrestling. If you've never been out there, you'll come see all those stars of Redeem Wrestling. It's going to be a huge lineup.
Corn
A lot of
dogs,
good
funnel
stuff.
pups, and people getting beat up.
That's it.
Funnel
Remember,
cakes.
Memphis Championship Wrestling's gun show will be there. The return of Brody Hawk to Redeem Wrestling. And if you want to see mayhem, Brody will bring that. Just get ready for it. You got championship matches galore. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So remember, come rain or shine, whatever happens, Thursday we'll be under the big top. Wrestling will be there. Redeem Wrestling will be there. Bring your kids out. Bring your family. It's going to be a fun time for everybody. All right, guys, that's it for this week. For 2 Count, for Randy, this is Big Daddy. We'll talk to you soon.